Hey, welcome back to Pour Over Marketing. It's a special one. Now, this is not the one that I promised last week. Last week, I said we were going to do in 2 weeks, we were going to do the like trends of 2025, things to do. I talked all about how we could do that as a marketing ploy for anything we're doing. And then this morning, I don't know, 4 o'clock in the morning, something like that, I woke up and I had an idea. And I thought, you know, I think this is what I want to say. I think this is what I want to do today. So I'm trying to get it resized to fit exactly. There it is. But today we're going to do the 12 days of marketing miss. I think that's a fun idea. Hopefully someone will be here to enjoy these with me. I went very Christmassy. Look, I've got a Christmas light there. There's a snowman lit up there. I've got my well, this is my going to chop down our Christmas tree. Look, here I should do this. It looks more real life versus camera life are two different things. So there you go. We are going to do the 12 days of marketing miss. Before we get into that, we're going to give people a chance to kind of get in here, see if we collect anybody joining us. Yeah, I'll throw this along the bottom. So it's been an interesting couple of weeks. Last time we talked about all the fun things going on in my world. They have not ended. Things just keep changing and adapting. And you know what? It's okay. It's all good. We're making things happen. Oh, look, if I do that, there's kind of a Christmassy Star Trek thing. Looks like it's coming out of my cup. Okay, enough of this. Pour Over Marketing happens every Saturday, 8 a.m. It works best when it's not me just sitting here lecturing, but when you come with questions, when you are prepared with some kind of question, and not only can I answer it, but maybe we can get other people involved, start talking about it, giving other ideas and answers to things. So in the future, bring your coffee, bring your questions, and let's try to have some open discussion on here as well. I'd really love for 2025, and this is something that is going to tie into this 12 days of marketing miss. I would really love to build this out into something more. Now, I talked about that like even a year ago, I think, when we first started, and I was saying, hey, I want to do this and I want to do that. And the thing is, there's a lot of building. There's a lot of, especially something like this, it's very organic. We could have come out of the box and said, okay, check this box, do this, do this, do this, and started the show. But I think the way we've done it has been a lot better. It was the problem I had with New Media Lab when New Media Lab first started. And this is a show under the New Media Lab umbrella. Okay. But it didn't have a focus, and I couldn't do it enough to create the focus that I wanted. So I never really gripped onto that show. This, when it started, we had an idea. It has completely evolved and changed in so many ways. And in fact, even in the last, I would say, month, some things have changed. For example, things like this. I think the month we did Integrated Marketing Palooza, it got a lot of comments, a lot of things kind of going on with that. I saw that, like, okay, people like when there's kind of a focused topic around things. And then it's interesting with that live stream we did from Paris that was only like 15 minutes. It was unannounced. I mean, it was announced to you guys because we said we're going to try this, but we didn't put it out there in the world. We didn't like advertise that we were doing this on any of the other channels. And while we were doing it, we didn't have a ton of watchers, but afterwards, that is probably our top rated episode of Pour Over, which is pretty awesome. So it shows me that you guys like it when it breaks form and when it has a focus. I know that seems like contradictory. It's not at all. So that's why this week it's the 12 days of marketing miss. So the idea here is between now and Christmas, we've got 12 days. People always debate on what the 12 days of Christmas are. Are they December 1st to the 12th? Are they leading up to so that on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, your final 12th gift is? Frankly, if you did all 12 gifts from the song, number one, you'd be broke. Number two, who wants all that crap? Uh, so we use it a different way. We use it as a way to, a lot of people do, to make change or to do things that they've been wanting to do. Well, what's one of the major tenets of this show? It's talking about achieving goals and not just in your marketing, but in your life. You know, there's a coaching element to this. And this gives you 12 days to take your marketing and put a little focus to it. And I know another thing that a lot of us do is we'll hear this, we'll get excited, we'll do the first day, and then we'll screenshot the other 11 days and say, oh man, I could do this. You know, I'm kind of busy. I'll wait and do this there. Well, that's the idea. Don't procrastinate. Take these 12 days and say, you know what? I can carve out 15 minutes. I get up, I have my coffee. Like in my case, I was up at 5:30 today, right? Up at 5:30, started thinking about this, started writing it out. I thought, oh, I can kind of do this closer to the time. And then I realized, no, the ideas are flowing. Let's get it done. Let's get this thing rocking. And I came up with 12 ideas that I feel are really good. And I thought, you know what? 15 minutes a day working on these. Yeah, you may not accomplish all of it. That's okay. That's where you can allow yourself a little grace. But if you start each one of the 12 and you start working on them, you're going to accomplish a lot between now and Christmas. And since it is 12 days, Christmas is the 12th day. There is even something for Christmas, for day 12. So, what do you say? Should we jump into this? Let's switch the view to this. And we'll go to day 2. Oh, sorry, day 1. Today. Welcome to day 1 of the 12 days of marketing mess. Okay, so day 1 seems basic. And I want you to do this around your business. Okay. It gets exciting. We start putting in our personal stuff. We want to do all that. No, I want you to do a goals list that is focused on your business. Okay. Look at 2025. What do you want your business to do? And you know, when you create a goals list, you, especially for a business, you want to maybe put some SMART goals on it, something that's attainable, something that is measurable, something that you can measure uh, the amount of success. I know I just said measurable twice, but that's what's going through my head. Attainable. Um, I want you to put it through that filter, through the SMART filter. And here's what I want you to do. Or here's what we're going to do. Day 1. I'm going to do it for this. Okay. It's going to be 15 minutes. Watch. It could be a lot longer, but if you carve out 15 minutes, you're going to do yourself a lot of good. So for 15 minutes, just write down goals for your business. Don't put restrictors on. So if the ideas are flowing and they're further out or bigger than you can accomplish in 2025, go ahead and write it down. But just write goals. And when you're writing goals, do things that, I mean, you let your mind go wild, but also make sure that you're doing things that are like, I want to increase my Facebook followers by 20% per month. I want to make, I have a podcast and I want to make enough money to offset the costs of making the podcast and have a number to it. Every month I need to make $50. Every month I need to make $20. I know it seems really low. I don't care. Because right now, are you doing that? I was talking to a podcaster, speaking of podcasts, I was talking to a podcaster who's got a mini network that was asking me a couple of questions about like how to do this. And first thing I asked, because they started talking about monetizing, and I said, okay, well, what's your goal? And they put some huge number on it. And I said, okay, so for your little mini network, you want it to make enough that you don't have to work. You're making $100,000 off of your mini network. That's an amazing goal. You think you're going to do that in 2025. Okay. So you've had this network for 4 years. Uh, how much have you made each year? It was zero. It was literally zero. And I was like, okay. So in 4 years, you haven't figured out how to make the podcast pay for itself. Yet you're going to go to $100,000 off of the same thing you've been doing. Maybe put that as a future goal, but for 2025, make it simple. Make it, I want it to pay for itself. If you're a writer or you have I don't know, a restaurant, make it simple. Start with, okay, first of all, I have a Substack and I want to do two things. One thing is I want to expand my reach and end up with 1,000 followers. There's a number, there's a goal. Number two, I want to get to the point, maybe by June, I've made content good enough that I can put a paywall on some of it. And there's a goal. And then by the end of the year, I'm making $100 per newsletter or per month off my newsletter. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. But in the beginning, go ahead, go crazy, write down all sorts of goals, but try to framework it around your business. You can do your personal stuff after that, but write a goals list around your business. Then take that goals list, throw it through the filter. We've talked about this before too. Make a filter for it. Where what I mean by that is take a hard look at what you've written. What can be attainable in 2025? What can be attainable in the next month? What can I do toward, like, can I move the needle on it in the next month, in the next 3 months, in the next year? What's beyond a year? Separate it out. What's a to do? Because you're going to put those in there. You're going to put in there, update my bio, right? Make a new LinkedIn profile. Those are to dos. If it's something that you're saying, do this, I can to do, great. The goal list, put those on the side, write to do at the top and put them on there. But the goals is the things like make X amount of money with my podcast, make X amount of followers on my newsletter, get affiliate marketing, and to do would be sign up for affiliate marketing with 5 affiliate things. My goal would be to make $100 a month off of each affiliate. Goal. Is that a tomorrow thing? No, that's going to be tough to make that $100 in the first month, but maybe say by the end of the first quarter. There's your SMART goal. By the end of the first quarter, I'm going to have, let's make it reasonable. Sign up for 3 affiliates. By the end of the first quarter, I want to be making $100 off of each affiliate per month. Now, does that mean you're going to hit that goal? Don't know. Hopefully. But now you have a goal. Then when you look at the next 3 months and you go, well, I made $50 a month, you're now of the mindset of making money off of it and working on it. And now we have a goal. So write day one, today, take 15 minutes, write a goals list, and then play this game of separating the to-dos, the time frames, all that stuff. But don't think of that when you're first brainstorming. Just write it. Okay, day 2. Let's see if my fancy, look at how I updated everything, made it look Christmassy. Give yourself 15 minutes, and you're probably going to fall into this and do longer. But on day 2, tomorrow, sit down with your phone and a notepad or sit at your computer. And first of all, think about what your business is and where your audience is. That should take you no time. Maybe finding them, that's where the research part comes in, will be tricky. But where do they go? Are they Facebook users? Are they Instagram users? Are they TikTok users? Okay, where are they? And then when I say research groups, I'm a big fan of the Facebook groups, not pages, but the groups. So if you find a group, let's say you do a movie podcast, right? You want to research groups. Look for groups that are, number one, places where people find podcasts. Those groups are terrible. Uh, People always think it's going to be great, and they post all their stuff in there, and they never get any listens off of them. That's what they do. But maybe you do a movie podcast. Well, are there groups of fans of movie podcasts or fans of movies that like get into a lot of discussion? Are there any other podcasts that maybe get to put something in there? I'll give you a great example. We have a Facebook page for This Week in Geek, which is our geeky news show that we used to do, which if I ever could go back to one of my shows, that would probably be one, because it was as a hobby, because that one was just so much fun. There's a group, though, that actually is the one that I do stuff with, which is called the Geeks Den, This Week in Geeks Den. And there we post funny memes and, chat back and forth, that kind of stuff. It's fun. I like it. And I seem to get more interaction on there when I post, like, toy ads from the 70s. People always respond to that kind of stuff, or a cartoon from the 80s, an episode of, the Gummy Bears, where they did a Star Wars parody, and I'll post that on there, and it always seems to get responses, right? On that group, I've told geeky, nerdy podcasts that fit that brew, hey, post it in the Geeks Den. You can't post it on This Week in Geek, but you can post it in the Geeks Den. I've got about 5 shows that regularly do. You're a Star Wars fan, there's a Star Wars one in there. You're a fan of like superhero stuff, there's a superhero one that posts in there. That's where the audience is. That's an audience that likes this weird, nerdy, geeky stuff, and they're rooted in podcasts. Great. So take your time. The point is, day 2, tomorrow, take your time to think outside of the box a little bit that way. Where's your audience? What makes logical sense where they might be, that they might interact, where you can post things? I invited people to post your podcasts. Got a YouTube show that's cool, that matches this kind of aesthetic? Do it. If it doesn't, I'm going to decline it. Simple as that. Look for groups where your audience might be. Okay. And also then look at social media accounts. So I put, when I say groups, I said that because I use the Facebook ones, but look at your social media accounts. Go to TikTok. If you're a writer, research Book Talk some. Find out who the players are. Who are the people you should be following that you want to get following you? Try to figure that out. It does a lot more than 1 day and 15 minutes to figure all that out. I don't care. Start tomorrow with 15 minutes, because it's eye-opening. Once you start doing it, I take my notepad and I'll write down the names. I'll write at the top, like Blue Sky. Okay. And I went, okay, who are some people that I need to have contact with on Blue Sky somehow? Whether I'm following them, they're giving great advice, or my audience follows, and I know that if I interact, there's a chance that they're going to interact back. And I wrote down some names. Now, am I doing a lot with Blue Sky? No, I've been really busy. But I do have a list of a few. I followed some people, and guess what? There's been a little bit of interaction. Now, is that the same interaction as a group? No. But if you go back to how we used to use Twitter, we used to do live tweeting of things. That got a ton of interaction. So what's your thing? Right? You're a horror writer. Okay? See who's out there. What groups are horror fans that are horror readers, right? Follow them. And then once you've done that, you now know where they're at. You know that the audience is there. Start figuring out ways that you can communicate with them, whether it's sharing what you do or creating content that they'd be interested in. For example, I talked about live tweeting TV shows. there's a perfect example. Once you've been in the group for a little bit and you know this group is kind of active, put a thing up like, or write to the admin and say, hey, is it okay if I post this? And say, I'm going to do a live tweet. They're showing American Horror Story. I want to do a live tweet of American Horror Story episodes every Monday night, whatever it is. Or whether they're showing it on something like FX has it on, or you're going to stream it. Just say, we're having a stream party. I'm going to host a stream party where I live tweet while I watch this every Friday night. I'm going on and I'm watching Evil, and I'm going to live tweet starting at 8 o'clock. But you have an audience there. You've researched it. You know this is an audience that might interact there. Once you have that audience and you're talking to them, they start finding out about you. You can lay something in there. Oh, hey, this is like the thing in my book. Research groups, research social media accounts. Go to Substack, look for newsletters that you can subscribe to, that you can start making those connections with. That's what this is. You're starting to build that network of not only fans, but of other creators that you can collaborate with, share, or that you can get to share your stuff. So day 2, tomorrow, take 15 minutes. Do a little research. If it's too overwhelming, pick one platform. I'm going to go on Substack and I'm going to search for newsletters about tree care. I own a lawn service and I specialize in tree care. Okay. Go to Substack. Look up botanists. Look up tree care. Look up lawn care specialist. See who's out there. See what they got going. Okay. Day 3. Hey, if you guys have questions, you interrupt me. Day 3. Now this, I'm not going to say what day it is each time, but this one I'll do. This one is Monday. This one's a little bit more involved, but not really. I'm not asking you to plot out 3 months. I'm also not asking you to plot out every social media. I'm saying take 15 minutes, plot out one. So here's what I mean. You already know your audience engages with you on, say, I keep saying Facebook. Let's pick something different. It engages with you on Blue Sky. Okay. You know that when you post on there, people comment and put likes and share. Okay, great. There's your audience. So take a calendar, get a blank calendar. You can print one off, or you can go to the dollar store and buy one, especially this time of year. They've got them, all sorts of them, cheap. Boy, if you really want to wait till January 5th, and then everybody knocks it down 50%. But just buy some kind of basic outline calendar. I wish I had one handy. I was looking to see if I could just grab one. I think it's in my drawer here. Or a wipe-off calendar, whatever you want. And then say, okay, I have this Blue Sky account, and I have followers here. You know what they're engaging with you there because you've already seen a little bit of it. Maybe you don't. That's okay too. But if you do, that helps. Even if you don't, it's okay. So what you do at that point is say, okay, I want to make sure I'm doing a minimum of 2 posts a week. Now, if you really want to go to more of a manager level of it, type in best practices of social media frequency posting or something like that. I said that in a real awkward way. Social media frequency posting 2024. There you go. Type that in. It'll come back with Hootsuite and HubSpot and all these different places. There'll be marketing firms. There'll be people like me that are doing shows that'll have blog posts about it. I like using like HubSpots because, or SEM rushes, because it will say, we did a market research. Here are all the different things we found. It's a little more scientific. Use that if you want to up your game. And it'll say, okay, Instagram, post 2 times a week, best practices as a business. That's the other thing is I type in best practices for a business right? Social media frequency best practices for a business 2024. And what you'll get back will be from this research they've done, you'll get to see what uh what they say. And they might say 2 times a week on Instagram for your business. Okay. Now you have your calendar. What are 2 posts that you can consistently do on your Instagram every week? And think about it. So you have a podcast. You talk about drinking on it once in a while, even though it's not about drinking. You're talking about movies, that movie podcast, but you guys always talk about, like, you know what are you drinking tonight? Oh man, I'm having a whatever. I'm drinking a Mai Tai. Okay, cool. You just kind of talk about it for a second. It's not a focus of your show. But social media outlet. Take one of your 2 days and say, okay, on Fridays we post a drink recipe for something we drank that week. We post a carousel of the new movie posters released this week. We post me asking another movie podcaster 3 questions. It's a little video clip. Put that on your social media calendar. Fridays, I do this. Tuesdays, pick one of those things. Maybe it's a day you ask a question. There's a plug-in on Discord or an app, I don't know what they call it on there, that is question of the day. You can install it in there and it automatically puts a question of the day. Maybe say, okay, every Tuesday I'm going to ask question of the week. And then if you can't think of a question related to what you're doing, Google it. Great movie trivia questions. And now you know Tuesdays are going to be a trivia question. Friday is going to be movie posters. Done. Basic. See how many times it suggests you do it or don't, and just pick a number. Once is probably too little. Twice is just right. More frequent might be better. You could look it up. You could see what works for your audience. But pick 2 or 3 things. They happen Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Boom. Make a calendar, write it down. And then what I would do is go one step beyond that and try to brainstorm, like if you're going to do the 3 questions thing I just said, write down people you want to get for it. So you can say Tuesday is Jesse. The next Tuesday is Diane. The next Tuesday is the team over at Cinegeek. Whatever. Because then you now have said to yourself, these are the days I'm doing this starting in January. And oh boy, I better reach out to Jesse and see if he'll jump on a phone call with me for 10 minutes so I can ask him 3 questions. Right? So try to focus it that way if you can. I did it with the trivia thing on one of the podcast groups I run. I would do Fridays. I do random question Friday. And I actually had a plot out for 6 months. So I had all the questions for 6 months already laid out. I couldn't schedule them, so I just had it on a notebook. And I knew, oh, it's the first week of January. Here's the question. Plug it in, cross it off. You were only able to schedule 2 months out. So I would schedule 2 months out. There you go. I had constant contact going on through my social media. So day 3, make a basic social media posting calendar. Okay, day 4. Who doesn't love to brainstorm? Boom. Brainstorm blog topics. Okay, we've talked about this as you're fine-tuning what you're doing. You want to have 2 social media accounts, and you want to have a blog and a newsletter, or at least a newsletter, but a blog and a newsletter, or use your blog as your newsletter. Okay. But brainstorm topics. Think about what your subject is. What could you write about? And what's your goal there? Is it to be an expert in the field? Yeah, great. So if your job is I'm a house cleaner and I want to use my social media to reach out a little bit, let people know I'm here. I'm not just doing ads. Maybe I have a newsletter that I do about cleaning. Marie Kondo, I'm looking in your direction. That's what you did. And you made a book and it got a Netflix series off of cleaning, right? So you go, okay, what are blog topics? I need to do a I need to do I'm going to do 2 blogs a month. There's 24 topics I need. What are 24 topics I could write about? And brainstorm it. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to struggle. You're probably going to think of maybe 1 or 2, and then you're going to stop and freeze. We all do it. At that point, you'll start getting creative. And typically what happens is you'll start a flurry of ideas, half of which are junk. Your first 2 might have even gone out the door because you go, I'd rather not start with that. I want to start with this. And before you know it, you will have 24 topics. And if you don't, you can go to the internet and type in, I think it's explodingtopics.com, and say home cleaning blog topics. Boom. Use AI for it. Don't use AI to write it. But go to ChatGTP and type in house cleaning blog topics. 24 house cleaning blog topics. Boom. There's a list. But don't just use that. Brainstorm on top of it. Try to think of things that you think would be good for you. Is it promoting a product and you want to talk about like how to use that product or how great that product is? Do you want to talk about techniques you use? You know, go buy a toothbrush you're not putting in your mouth. Use that to clean the rim under your toilet. Pro tip, right? Brainstorm blog topics. You don't have to do 24. You don't have to make that decision. Just get a list. Get a whole list of things that you think you could write about. Okay, moving on. This is different. I know it seems like the same thing. You want to brainstorm some newsletter features. Okay, so we've talked about on a newsletter how it's like a newspaper. You have these little segments, okay? You have the from the author, and then what else do you have? Do they have to be the same thing every time? No. Can they be? Yes. But think of features that you would want. Once again, I have a movie podcast. I'm going to put a thing down here, box office winners for this month. I'm doing a newsletter once a month. One of my features is the box office winners. It's information I can pull from a different source, but I can always put it in my newsletter. Best author interviews best not author, best filmmaker interviews I found this month, or books about directors recommends, book reviews, whatever your little features are. What's your blog topic? Maybe you go, in every newsletter, I'm going to have one segment that is like a mini version of my blog topic. Boom. But brainstorm a bunch of features. Maybe it's just a meme. Maybe it's you go, oh, you know what? I create all this really cool stuff for my Instagram. I'm going to share some of that on here as part of my feature and promote that I have an Instagram. Hey, you like this? Find more at my Instagram. But brainstorm newsletter features. 15 minutes. This is day 5. It's not going to take you that long. Forget the other stuff. Each day, what you're doing is you're going, what is the thing today? The topic today? Brainstorm newsletter features. And do it. Just start writing them down. However that's going to work. Notice all these things that we're talking about, you're not necessarily having to do anything with yet. You're building a canon is what you're doing. You're fine-tuning things. You're getting your marketing in order. 12 days, 15 minutes a day. We're Geico. 15 minutes a day for 12 days could save a ton on your marketing brain power. I'm a gecko. Oh, do we have something I could use? Oh, see, I packed up a bunch of things. Here. The Mandalorian says 15 minutes a day on your marketing for 12 days could save a lot on your marketing brain power. Terrible. Not licensed either. Okay, let's go with the next one. Trickier. This one's some work. Okay, this is day 6. So if I'm doing my math right, that is what? Thursday. You're going to create a funnel for newsletter signups. Time to do a little work. Okay, we're not at Christmas yet. It's not a weekend yet. I know you've got work. You might have a Christmas party that night, whatever. For 15 minutes working on this, you actually might feel like you moved a mountain. You need to create a funnel for newsletter signups. So here's what I'm talking about. You've got MailChimp. It has a funnel creator in it. Funnel is you write a welcome email. There's the first piece of the funnel. Okay, you're making a funnel. The top of it is where everybody's kind of coming in at the top, and you're trying to lead them down a path. You're going to create a very simple funnel. You're going to write down at the top of the funnel where they sign up. Then they enter the funnel, and you're going to use MailChimp or Constant Contact or whatever it is you use, and you're going to create an email that welcomes them and says, well, actually, if it doesn't automatically do this, it should automatically send an email that says, did you intend to sign up for this, right? That could be the very first thing you do is make sure that it has that and make sure it's worded the way you want it to be worded. Then funnel 2 segment is welcome to my newsletter. Thanks so much for being here. Here's a freebie. Here's something in my appreciation. This is where you do your loss leader. You signed up for my thing. You said you want to do it. Great. Here's my list of the top 6 products to use to clean your car, whatever your subject is, right? Top 6 tools I use in blank. Whatever it is. Top 6 mantras, top 10, whatever. Here's an exclusive interview that I did that only lives for people that do this. Here's a little video. Like when you get Spotify, you get Spotify Wrapped. At the end of it, some of the artists have recorded these little things like, hey, this is Jeff Tweedy. Thanks so much for being a Wilco fan. We've got a show coming up that you're going to want to check out. And if you're one of these fans in the top 100, you get a free sticker or something, like whatever it is. You could do a little video. You could do whatever. But create that funnel. What are the steps? And then once they get that freebie, think about what you want. And at worst case scenario, have something that automates at maybe 3 months that thanks them again for being there and has some little exclusive that is not part of your normal newsletter. It's automated. So now if you have some kind of automated things, there's going to be months where if you only do one newsletter a month, they're going to get a second thing that has a little bit of value that they might be like, oh, cool. Hey, you've been here for 6 months. As a thank you, I want you to have this. Or as a newsletter subscriber that's been loyal here for 6 months, I'm offering you 10% off on my consulting services if you use this coupon code in the next 30 days. Make it more than 10% for that. Make it a little sweeter. 25% off if you use this coupon code in the next 30 days. Right? But so when I teach this to students, some of them will actually draw a funnel and say, what's at the top? The top is them signing up for my newsletter. What's the first thing that happens in the funnel? Make the steps. Some people just draw it as steps. Some people make 4 steps and they're done. That's okay too. I'm not telling you to actually go into MailChimp and build the whole thing out. That's going to take you longer than 15 minutes, but you could outline it in 15 minutes. Get the ideas down and then say, you know what? I'm going to write that opening email because people I do need to have this. I just made one, and it's interesting because we do get signups all the time on this one. And I thought, you know what? We don't have an actual funnel for this. We have just kind of a welcome thing. So I made a very small funnel. And what's interesting is it already, I saw somebody get it at the 30, got a group of them get it at 30 days being subscribers. So when I made it, it was about 35 days ago. It had the introduction, which was already in place, but then I made something 30 days out that said, hey, you've been here for 30 days. We want to celebrate. It's our 30-day anniversary. People got it. People opened it. The open rate was like 49%. I'm like, whoa, that worked. So take 15 minutes, create a funnel, have a little fun with it. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Research. Day 7. Now, this is Friday. Take 15 minutes and research keywords and hashtags related to what you do. Okay? Related to what your audience is going to be interested in. A couple of pro tips for this, the way you find keywords and hashtags. One is you can find keywords. There's a great tool that you can use for free if you go to SEM Rush. See if I can type it in here. SEM Rush. And they have a whole thing. You can sign up. You can pay a fortune to do it. Their trainings. It's really actually phenomenal. The trainings, free trainings are great too. But let's say you don't want to do all that. Go to SEM Rush. There's a thing called like Keyword Magic or Keyword Finder or something like that. Go to that. Let's say your subject is, we'll go back to cleaning. This is what you do. You are a house cleaner and you're trying to keep your clients happy, keep them engaged, build audience, all that stuff. So what subject could people look up that they might actually stumble across what you do? Type in house cleaning in the keyword magic. See what it comes up with for keywords. Put a specific product in, see what it comes up with. Or a type of product. Or a technique, or whatever it is. Type it in the keyword magic, see what it comes back with. What that site does, the reason I love it so much is it'll tell you, like, this is when we get geeky marketing. It'll tell you the long tail keywords. It'll tell you how much they get used and all that, which are the low, which are the high, whatever. Great. You can either think about that or you can just look at it and get ideas for keywords. If you do think about all that stuff, you can look at it and it'll tell you that. So you'll be like, okay, I should have a mix. I should have a couple of these, like keywords that everybody searches for, but then I'm 1 in 10 million. So I've got to have some that are more niche down that maybe 100 people look for and see what that does. But write down a few keywords that you can now use in your bio, in your blog posts, your newsletter. You can use it. You can drop it into your website. You can do it in your social media posts. Because hashtags and keywords work great for all of those things. Now, hashtags don't really work on your website. Okay. Although there are people that think they kind of do. They just don't operate the same way a hashtag does on social media. But there is nothing wrong that at the end of a blog post, you've built keywords into that blog post, and at the bottom you put 5 or 6 hashtags. Why? Well, number one, those hashtags might get scrolled on by those bots and think of them as keywords. Or if somebody shares it to their social media, it now has embedded hashtags in it. Keywords and hashtags are kind of two different things. So I mentioned SEMrush. That is specific to keywords. You can use that for hashtags as well, kind of. But then what I would do, the easiest thing in the world, take your keywords, take your topics that you're going to do, go to Google and type in best hashtags for blank. Current hashtags for blank. And what'll happen is, number one, its AI is going to generate a list that's going to make you go, these are hashtags people are using. It also might give you a link, which it probably will, to a site like Hashtagify Me or something like that. Hashtag.io, I think it is, which do the same thing. I used to love Hashtagify Me. They changed it. I don't use it like I used to, but it was awesome. I would type in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when we're doing our Marvel podcast, and what it would do is you could go into this keyword search, or I'm sorry, hashtag search, and it would give you all these hashtags, and then it would make a wheel to show you how often they're getting hit on and which are the ones right now versus last month. Oh, it was awesome. Now they charge for it, and I tried it once that way, and I didn't like the tool as much, but I heard it's good again. So when you type that in, you might get some tools that you could use that would help you find keywords and hashtags. Or for 15 minutes, go look at your competitors. Go look and see, hey, this guy's a competitor of mine. I know that they've got a big audience. What are they doing? What hashtags are they using? Write them down. You now have the same hashtags, which very likely will help you grow that audience. Day 8. Make a customer avatar. Here, this one deserves its own. Make a customer avatar. See, dramatic effect. I waited on that one. This is dreaded by many people. This might really suck too. This might be on Saturday. I don't know. But don't do it. Take 15 minutes. When you make a customer avatar, you start writing down things about them. This is who reads your book. This is who goes to your social media. This is who buys your services. If you have a bike repair company, who is the customer? You go, it's everybody. Everybody has a bike. Well, okay, sure. Maybe. But your sales, who's your customer? And here's what you're going to find. When we had our baby store, we pinpointed it pretty quickly. Pregnant people, that's an obvious one. But we knew by watching the people coming in, there was a lot of grandparents. There were a lot of pregnant people were putting gift registries together. Grandparents were coming in and buying a lot of things. We could draw an avatar. Which grandparent is in engaging with us? Is it the pair of them? Do they always come in a couple, or is that typical? Is it typically the grandma? Is it typically the grandpa? And what is it about them? Does one buy the big ticket items and one buy the smaller ticket items? Do they come in together and go through that registry with you? They want information, and then they're spreading the word to their friends. Yes, get them this, get them that. Narrow down as much as you can. Now, that was specific buying habits stuff, right? But you could go as far as just whatever you know about them. I noticed something interesting. My people that here's a good one. I was looking at one of the shows, and I noticed one of the podcasts, and I was looking at its stats, and I was like, well, its downloads are okay. And then it had some stats about the people. And one thing I noticed, it's a show that I thought would have gone for like 40-year-olds or younger. And probably 70% of the audience, it said, was 65 and older. Logically makes no sense. But I went, okay, that goes on my avatar. There's the dream avatar, right? Which is the person you hope you're hitting. Then you could also have one that's my actual avatar, which might tell you something. How do I market to that person or people in that group? If 60% of the people are over 65 that follow your thing, well, maybe create content that over 65 might be like, oh, they're talking to me. Cool. I'm going to share this, right? Customer avatars could be all sorts of things. When I did this with my class, I made them actually just draw a picture of a person, an outline of a person. What's their hair color? How old are they? Where do they shop? How educated are they? Do they have kids? What kind of car do they drive? What TV shows do they watch? Do they listen to radio? Do they like vinyl or CD? Do they have leather seats in their car or cloth seats in their car? Anything that you can put on there. Is it all guessing? Might be, but it gives you a starting point. If it's all guessing and you look at this avatar and you start creating your content around this avatar and you go, it's not right. I didn't realize it when I posted something and it said leather seats and it dropped off. I know it's weird, but in my ad, I shouldn't show leather seats. My audience doesn't connect to that. Build an avatar as much as you can know about them. Try to pinpoint an age, niche it down. I know the tendency is to say everybody and build this giant avatar. Don't. I mean, go ahead, do that. Have fun with it. But in this 15 minutes, try to sand the edges a little bit. Get to know your customer a little more. If it takes drawing a picture and just writing data about them, drawing arrows, like they do this. You ever see those where it has like a nerd and it'll say signs of a nerd and it has all these arrows? Has a watch with too big a handle. It has, floods and they don't tie their shoes. Great. Do the same thing for your customer. Who is your customer? Does it mean you're excluding others? No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. Who do you want your customer to be? Well, you can build that avatar too. But the more you know about your customer, the easier it is for you to kind of tailor things to attract more people in that group. Okay? We're going to run out of time. I better get moving here. Here's an easy one. You need to write bios with keywords. And what I'm talking about here is I see this mistake all the time. I've been doing all these things, looking at people's social medias. And what I see is, you're on Instagram and it's got your little bio and they write really weird things or they put a bunch of links and it doesn't work on there. Write a bio that you can put on a website that's like 500 words. Then write one that's shorter, that's maybe 5 sentences. And then boil it down to a bio that is 1 sentence that can go on some of your social media. So if you look at like Facebook, it might have a bio that's like 1 sentence about you or a statement about you. When you click about, it's got a bio. There's your 500 words. Okay. If you're sending out a press release or you're sending something to get on a show, one of the best I had, there was a game designer that recently wanted to be on something I was doing, and they sent me this press kit that basically had like, here's an ad for our game. Here are the people that are going to be on. And then they had bios. And in the bios, they put short bio, which was about 3 sentences, and then a long bio for each person. So I could look at the long bio and as the interviewer have this to pull from. But on the stuff I was posting, I could put their short bio and it was accurate. And when I say with keywords, you've done your keyword research. Are there any keywords you can use that make you more searchable? Put them in there. Don't just make it a stuffed thing of keywords. That doesn't work. And this, once again, this could be if it's personal. I didn't want that one. I wanted this one. Boom. If it's personal, if it's your business, if it's a fan page, whatever it is, try to find some keywords for it in that other practice. Write a short bio, write a longer bio. One goes at the top of your social media, one goes on your website, is a way to think of it. Okay, but now you have a tool you can use because you do get asked for this stuff or you need it. You're getting asked to speak at somebody's classroom, right? They go, hey, you know what? You're an expert in this. Can you come in and talk in my class? You go, yeah, cool. Yeah, I'd love to. You email them your short bio and say, here you go. And guess what they do? They send it to all the kids in the class. The bio that also has a couple of your social media links. And when you walk out of there, you now have some new followers. We're getting there. Day 10. Boom. No, boom. Okay, so we just said to do that stuff. Today you get to use it. You've already written the short bio. Worst case scenario, take the short bio, plug it in on all your social media right on the front. Or if it doesn't take that, put the longer bio in the about section. Put it in. You're not optimized, but you're a heck of a lot better than you were. When I say optimize your social media, do that step. But then also, there's two things you can do. One is give it a hard look. Look at the picture you're using. Is it a picture of you? Is it a picture of your business? Is it sending the message you want it to send? I see weird stuff all the time that doesn't apply. Make it make sense. When I say optimize it, this is where if you have a header image, when you put in a new header image, sometimes it'll say alt text. Write an alt text that has your keywords. This is what the page is about. Here's what's going on. Here's what's in the image, and here's what it's about. It makes you more searchable. It optimizes it. Make sure that it's curated. If you posted a bunch of posts on your business one when you were upset about the results of the election, or you were celebrating the election, look at it and go, hey, I'm trying to have a tree farm, yet I posted all this political stuff. I'm going to get it out of there. It doesn't belong there. Now, do we all do it? Yeah, sure. We all do that stuff. We all make mistakes. Now is your chance to go back and just look at it and pull it out. We're not getting into high-level optimization. We're getting into just basic, clean it up, try to get some hashtags and keywords in there, make it look as good as it can. Okay? I didn't even say change the image. You're optimizing it, but you're also learning what needs to be optimized. Day 11. Research podcasts. This could be research YouTube. This could be research like any place that has media, radio stations that are by you. If there's a local AM station, figure out, is it a place where, number one, I might be able to do some type of advertising or partnership? Or can I be interviewed? There's a local station in Elgin. I reached out to the guy on the midday and I said, hey, it's Halloween. Over the next 2 weeks, how about if I send you horror authors every day? You can interview one. I said, I don't know, 10 minutes. He ended up having a horror author every day of his shift for 10 days, put him on for a half hour, had a blast. Great. Not only did they get interviews, but we had a sale going on. So every one of them, I told the author, make sure you mention the sale. By the end of it, he was mentioning the sale in the promos for having the author on. Podcasts. Who has topics that pertain to what you're doing? Number one, learn that so that you know where your audience is. Hey, if you do something, you sell, you have an Etsy shop and you sell ornaments based on anime characters, find where the anime fans are. What do they listen to? What do they watch on YouTube? What do they watch on Twitch? What do they watch on TikTok? Who are the players? Do that research and just write them down. Figure out who they are. Now you can go back and say, okay, here's a show I would really like to get on. I'm going to reach out to them and say, did you know I do this? I would love to be on. But do the research. Don't do the other stuff. Today, do the research. Get to know the media market around what it is you do. We did it. Day 12. Barely fit on the screen. Make artwork for your social media plus. So here's what I mean by that. Your banners, your icon on any social media platform, make them look good. Here's what I see a lot. Somebody will make this great banner, right? I have, I'll see not a magazine. I just saw one that was, it was a band and they were, I know what it was. It was a band that has a new album coming out. They wanted to do a post at the top that had all their albums with their new one in the middle. Here was the problem. They didn't go to HubSpot or one of these and Google Dimensions 2024 for Facebook header, for Twitter header, for TikTok header. They didn't do that. So they made one size thinking it would work. When you went to Facebook, it cut off the top and the bottom, and the thing was framed weird. When you went to Twitter, X, it's a different dimension. So it had banners at the side or at the top, I can't remember. It looked janky. When I went to the other one, they don't even use it. They have an icon, right? But rather than use their normal icon, they tried to shove this widescreen image into a square. It wasn't even putting their album cover in the middle that they wanted to promote because it was off center. So it had like part of the cover and then black and then like part of another cover. And that's what they used. Go in, Google social media size chart. Also think about on your newsletter and your blog. Is there artwork at the top? Figure out the dimension. Go to Canva or Photoshop or whatever you use and make consistent artwork in all those dimensions and put them where they go. Now, that might take you more than 15 minutes because you have to keep recreating, but maybe it won't. And maybe since day 12 is Christmas, you won't do it on Christmas. But maybe you will. Maybe Christmas afternoon, you sit down and you go, I'm going to at least Google the dimensions. Boom. Mission accomplished. Okay. So there you go. That was the 12 days. I should go back to the very first slide. That was the 12 days of Market Miss. Everybody cheer and celebrate. Okay. Let's go past day 12. A little bit of business. You can join my newsletters. Pour Over Marketing and Mic Drop are both on Substack. Mic Drop is about podcasting. Pour Over Marketing is about marketing. This list is going to be on there as a post. And then I'm actually doing another one that I talked about last week, which I'll be working on this week. Hopefully it'll be done. Otherwise, it'll be done just for New Year's. It's a funny time of year. So join those newsletters. And if you have a newsletter, make sure I'm aware so that I can follow you. And if you post a good one, I can share it. And you can do the same with mine. YouTube channel. We have the New Media Lab YouTube channel. I have just started posting. I posted a segment of one of the shows, just a clip, got a lot of views. So this is going to become a new thing. I'm going to start pulling segments out of this, creating some original segments in the new year. But for right now, I'm going to start taking some segments off of some of the shows, clipping them down, making it shareable, putting it on YouTube. And then also on the New Media Lab channel, it will have this show. Starting in the new year, every episode of Pour Over is going to be on there. I have still not been able to get it to live stream it there. I don't care. You're going to be able to go back and watch the archive there at New Media Lab on YouTube, which is at New Media Lab Pod. Again, with Southgate Media Group, if you're there, we're there. We're on all these different platforms. And sometime in 2025, we join TikTok as long as it's still here. X, we're getting rid of. I'm done. It's a wasteland. Consider that X a blue sky and a Threads logo, which I'm going to update this soon. I just noticed that I had not updated that. If you want to email me, you can email me at rob@smgpods.com. It goes directly to me. Make sure you put a clear subject so I know. If you have a question for the show, if you want to talk to me about maybe doing a free consultation or signing up to be a client, and let's go. Let's do some consulting. Let's do some coaching. That's where you can reach out to me. It's the easiest way. No matter what the site is, if you're on Dreaming Big Coaching, if you're on the Podcast Profs, if you're on New Media Lab, no matter what the email says, it goes to that bucket. It all goes to me. And finally, this has been brought to you by Southgate Media Group. Your holiday, I don't know. I think I've run out of steam. It's 9:07. I am out of coffee. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your week. If you haven't gotten your Christmas tree and you're inclined to do so, now is the time. We're going tomorrow. And yeah, and if you're not a Christmas person, I try not to make it just Christmassy here. I guess it's just holidays. But remember, Christmas is an amazing time for marketing. Yes, we may have missed the boat for this year. There's still time to do some things, but this is the perfect time to do the 12 days of market miss. Start tightening those screws, start sanding the edges, starting to put new color and new paint on things. Now is the time. All right. Happy holidays. I will see you next Saturday, same time, same marketing channel. I was going to say same bat channel. It doesn't work. Have a great week, everybody. Hey, Merry Market Miss.